So the holy Tanoim, Rabbi Shmuel Cohen Gadol and Rabbi Nechonye ben Hakana in the Medrash, sefer Hatmuna, Tmuna Gimel, Os Hey, talking about the letter Hey, it discusses a very interesting idea about shechting animals and how the animals are even equated with us to a great degree. And he says that slaughtering an animal is compared to when Kayin killed his brother Hevel, and he murdered him, and it says his blood was crying out from the ground. And it says that for this reason, we cover the blood of an animal when we slaughter it, because it's like killing a brother. And the reason we have 5 special laws on when we shecht, of Drasha, Xalada, and equate, all these different ways that we're supposed to make sure that we slaughter properly, is in order to give a misa yafa, to give the best possible and easy death to the animal. And with this we fulfill the ואהבת לרעיך כמוך, that you should love your fellow as yourself. So he also implies here that this is also expressed in the creation of Adam and Chava. When Chava was separated from Adam, it was taking one of his ribs, and he called her a bone from my bones and a flesh from my flesh. And it's like flesh and bone that we eat, so to speak. And perhaps that's why it was forbidden for Adam at the time to eat meat. And so he mentions here that the continuation of Kayin and Hevel is furthered by Peretz and Zarach, as a gilgul of Kayin and Hevel, that they were, so to speak, 2 brothers that were born as a yibum, and a correction of the souls of Aaron Onan. And they were a rectification of this idea that if you have a brother who dies and you fix it, and that's like Kayin who killed Hevel. Now this makes more sense according to, and the Mefarsh says this as well, is that Kabbalistically, when you have somebody who dies and has sinned, and at times their neshama goes into an animal to be elevated, and the animal, if it gets slaughtered and eaten in a kosher way, that elevates the soul of that person, of that holy tzaddik. So if we consider that when we slaughter an animal, it could literally be our brother. So it makes more sense that it's not just when we eat an animal, it's just the animal. But the reason that we're equating animals with our brother here is because there's a deeper, also spiritual meaning. But it doesn't mean we have to not have sensitivity to the animals as well. Now, another interesting idea that isn't directly mentioned is that Peretz and Zarach are a direct result of the sins of Aaron Onan. That there it says that v'shiches arza levilti nitan zera la'achiv, that they spilled the seed on the ground to not give seed to their brother, and that's literally like spilling the blood on the ground. And not giving life, again, this is the concept of yibum, that they did not give life to their brothers. By spilling the seed itself, and Onan by not fulfilling a yibum concept of giving life to his brother, who died. And so Perach and Zarach were a tikkun of that. And now, according to the Mefarsh, the reason it says that the tikkun was delayed, and then it discusses Peretz and Zarch. So it seeming to imply that the delay was Peretz and Zarch. But the Mefarish says no, that it's actually, the delay is actually referring to later with Rus and Boaz. How Rus was from the nations, and it was a tikkun of the nations of the world that her soul was in. And just like we equate the animals with our brothers in the tikkun, so we can also learn something from how we treat the nations here as well, that Rus was a tikkun for it. And there's also a concept of yibum here with the Machlon and Kilyon's death. And it's, why was it only one birth? Why did Rus only give birth to one boy if we have a tikkun here of Machlon and Kilyon? So he says, no, Machlon, our sages said, Machlon is Melashon Machul. He was forgiven, and therefore he did not need a tikkun, and therefore you only had one concept of Yibum here. Now, there's also a concept of Esav here, and the Hay being the 5 different kinds of laws of Shechita, and connected with that Seda, Tzayid Hay of Esav, and we're going to leave that.